And I'm going to try something today, guys. I'm taking you along with me. I've never done it before, but I've been wanting to do it for a while. I've been wanting to learn to make some of my own pouches. I have a lot of material gathered up through the years, a lot of camping stuff. But I recently come across a good amount of canvas, and I wanted to make some canvas bags. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to try it on camera, let everybody see me succeed or fail. I really don't care. But I really want to try this. I'm going to try to make 2 of them. You have to make a circle to make the pouches, so I'm going to do a good size one, which will probably make me a medium sized bag, and then I'm going to make a small bag. So I'm going to take you along for the ride. I might speed some of it up, I'm not quite sure yet. So if I do, I'll probably just do talk over on the video, and I'll bring you back at the end and we'll see how it goes. This is going to be fun though. And plus I get to use some stuff that I have, and here is the canvas I have, which is, I think these are curtains, and a whole bunch of this leather twine. Okay, it worked out better just me recording my voice, guys. So here I am laying out my canvas, trying to get it as flat as I could, but you know that never works right. And I'm doing the first one with a Dixie plate. I didn't measure. I think this is like 12 inches across. It worked great. I used a pencil. Now, the reason I used a pencil was I wanted to be able to poke the holes better. You'll see what I mean. And then I'm using a pair of scissors, which turned out to be not the perfect pair. So I got another pair, cut the circle out, and now I'm just going around taking off some of the frays, because it wasn't an actually pretty circle. It was just the best I could do. Remember, I'm not making this any kind of special thing to sell or something. It's just for me. And I thought I would use a lighter just to go along the edges and get rid of some of the fringes, maybe to help it from fringing anymore. It does work, but you have to be careful. And I had a fan on me keeping me cool while I did this too, and it kept, you can see, flickering the lighter a little bit. But I did get it to where I wanted, where I was happy with it. And then what I did is, just about a ½ inch from the edge, I started putting a little dot where I was going to punch a hole to put the leather through. Now I'm just using that part of my knuckle. You can see me measuring it, and I know for a fact that part of my knuckle is about 1.5 inches. So what I did was just started doing it all the way around, and I sped it up because after doing this for a little bit, I realized this is going to be really repetitive on video, and I didn't want to bore you guys. So I had a really sharp pencil, the one I marked with at first, and I started pushing holes through, where I had the dots. And it worked really good because the sharp point on the pencil would help just go through the stitching of the canvas. So then, of course, I did it all the way around. It is a lot of work, and I can imagine the bigger ones you do, they're going to take even more work to do. And so I just kept going through it, and it took a little while. I mean, this is sped up, so this took me like a good couple minutes. Doing it this way first, I thought this might be the best way, but I'll tell you later what wasn't. Then this is all my extra leather strapping I have. Basically, I'm just going in and out of the holes, just like you would with the needle if you were stitching something. At first, I noticed that when I pushed through with the pencil, by the time I get back through with the leather, it had closed a little bit. Like the stitching had just started to come together a little bit, and a couple of times it hung up, and I would have to go get the pencil again and push back through. But it's not that hard. I mean, it's just really repetitive, really repetitive. So it just takes time. I was sitting on my knees, but I wish I had had a chair. I should have brought my stool in. It could have been a heck of a lot more comfortable. And I just kept going until I got all the way around it. Now, you will have to pull the leather through every little once in a while because you will shorten it up. So it pulls through if your holes are, at least gives it some leeway if your holes aren't too tight around whatever you're using. I might use some twine in the future, but I don't know, the leather worked really good, and I had this extra stuff anyway, so I just wanted to use it. But I think I might use twine because I have so much old twine that I could use. But one thing surprised me about the leather, and I'll tell you guys about it later, because I didn't realize it till after I finished the first bag. I mean, it was a plus. Now, when you do this, if you want, you can end with both ends of the leather or whatever you're using on the outside of the pouch. I went back and fixed this later, but once you pull it, it just cinches right up. At first, I didn't think it was going to do it. I thought, I'm going to pull this and it's not going to work. I had it in my mind how to do it, but it did work. And once you do that, you're able to open it up. I wanted to throw a couple things in just to see how well it would work. This will probably be my small pouch I'll use for something small. So I said, well, I'm going to make a bigger one. So I threw this down so you guys could see the difference in my wife's lid. She said she was okay with me doing this. Now the first time I traced it out, I did it with a pencil, but this time I did it with a fine tip marker. Just for me, it made it easier on my eyes to find it. You know, I'm in that reading glasses era, so I had my reading glasses on and the light pencil was just too close to the color of the fabric. But this worked good. I have a better pair of scissors now. If you do this with anything like this, I'm going to get myself a really good pair of craft scissors. These scissors I have, they're really good, but they're not craft scissors, but they worked well. They cut a lot better than the other pair I used in the last one. And they definitely worked better than the first pair I used. They were frustrating. So what I did was I just squared it up and then I started going around the circle and I sped it up because it's just simply the same procedure. I go around cutting all the little edges. This one was better because I could see the pencil line more easily with my eyes, and if I saw like this little piece right here and I just clipped it off. But this one looked better, you know. These are my first times doing it. I didn't mind messing up. Here I was showing you where the center of the pouch is, and if you fold it over, that will basically give you how big the pouch will be. Again, started marking a 1/2 inch from the edge. I know that knuckle part of me is 1.5 inches, so I just started, you know, eyeballing it, and I go all the way around all over again. Speed it up because, you know, the bigger the circumference is, the more holes you're going to have to punch. And again, this time though, I thought, you know what, I'm going to punch a hole and immediately put the leather through. This was the way to go. It didn't have time for the hole to close up. I know I wanted to just get one part done and go to the next part, but this was actually smoother, easier, it flowed better. Sometimes, you know, a thread would get in the way, but it wasn't like the first time. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna speed this up again. I'm gonna bore these guys. I was talking while I was doing this, but it you know, once I sped it up, I sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks. So again, I got all the way to the end and saw that open all the way. Now, when I cinch it, I'm going to have extra. So this is the most cordage or leather, whatever you use. I'm using leather, but this is the most I'll need. Of course, when I cinch it up, I'll have more. That's okay. And the big pouch really impressed me. Look at that. It really impressed me. I really said wow loud at the camera. So it worked great. When you tie these, the leather holds really well, and you can wrap the strapping around. And it's nice too, because if you wrap that strapping around when you have it closed, and if it's twine or something, you might need that sometime, and you got some extra cordage or whatever you might need. But I wanted to put some bigger things in, and guys, it really worked well. I was impressed. I didn't use the lighter on this one. I didn't care. I just said, if you know, if it gets loosened, I'll fix it later. But this really went a lot of fun. Turned out way better than I thought. I'll tell you about some of the things I did, what I learned from it, and how much I respect anybody who makes bags by hand, and also how our ancestors did it. That was a little bit of work, and I wasn't trying to make it pretty. I was just trying to make it durable and see if I could do it, but it worked better than I thought. One thing, you can waterproof these type of bags if you want. I'm not. I'm just going to use these on all material I have, just because I don't want to have to go through all those steps. You could use wax, seal it if you want. You can use animal fat, anything like that you want to make these waterproof, especially along the edges. Mine are a little frayed, but I'll go back over them again, which I don't care. That's fine. Number two, realize that if you want a decent sized bag, you have to have something really big and round. I used the lid of one of my wife's fillets or pots, I think, and it was like 24 inches to get this one, and a regular size Dixie plate only got me the smaller one. So I'm going to use some bigger ones. I'm going to make some more of these because I like having these. Worked great. They cinch up nice. And the other thing I didn't realize is how good the leather works. When you cinch it up, it stays tied. It actually works better than the little cinch things that we have nowadays on everything that we have that comes in a bag. The leather works better. I might start doing that on a lot of my gear. And third, if you do any type of these bags, if you notice I have a lot of the leather strapping hung over, that's because if you don't have enough and you open up the bag, it'll go through the holes. You need to lay it flat, have everything you need then, that way when you cinch it, of course you have some left over. I don't care about that, that's fine, because I'm just gonna wrap it around the top. I just have a couple things in them now to see how big they are, but I really like these guys. It really turned out well. So thanks for coming along, guys. I really appreciate it. Anybody has any tips, anybody else out there make throwing gear like these or pouches, please put your comments below. I'd love to see what you guys do and share it with everybody else. But I'm going to do this on some more gear, and I might do a future video not on the canvas, but on other material that I have, just because that worked so well. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.